Ladies and gentlemen, Primetime CP23 here, back with another Diablo 3 video. Today, we're going to be talking about Season 12, and we're going to be talking about the fastest builds to get to Torment 13. So, as you all know, there are 7 classes in Diablo 3. Each one is going to take a different number of pieces of equipment to get to Torment 13. I'm not necessarily talking about speed farming, I'm talking about strictly getting to Torment 13, period. So I did some testing with this, probably not as much as I should have done, but I did some testing on this simulating Paragon 400 with only X number of items used. We found a couple things. Number one, we found out that Demon Hunter with the Natalia set starting off is going to be able to do the damage, but if it gets hit by anything, they're gonna die. So it may be a little rough for Demon Hunters starting off, but so anyway, to go ahead and get this started, so for each class, they do get a set with Hadrig's Gift this season. Crusader will get the Seeker of the Light set, which is aka the Blessed Hammer set. Barbarians will get the Immortal King's Call set, which is going to be really good for Charge Barb and Hammer the Ancient, or Hoda, builds. Monk is going to get the Uliana Stratagem set, which is not actually in my cube right at this, or my stash right at this moment, I apologize. Demon Hunters are going to be getting the Natalia's set, which, like I said, is going to be based around the Reign of Vengeance skill. It's going to lead to plenty of damage, but you're going to have a rough time, because you're going to be very squishy, and you're going to get one-shot by everything. Wizards will be getting the Veers set, which I'm currently wearing right now. Once we get into this a little bit, I'll start running through a couple riffs just to show you what's going on. Necromancers will get the Tragul's Avatar set, which again is not actually in the cube or in my stash right at this moment, and I apologize. And Witch Doctors get the Arakir's set, which you see where this is going. So out of all of these sets, each one of them is going to take a different number of items before you can start running T13. For Wizard, the main couple things you're going to have is the Mantled Heal, and I would say Fazula's Improbable Chain, and possibly even the Swami is going to be the bare minimum stuff. You're probably going to need a lot more than that also. My guess is you will probably need a couple of Unities. As you can see, the Unity I'm wearing doesn't even have a socket on it. I mean, so this is not perfect gear. I do have Flawless Imperial Gems in, or Flawless Royal, whatever the top level is. Flawless Royal. Gems in, and then in the cube, I've got an Ingeom. Ingeom is pretty important to help get in and out of Archon a lot faster, and may be very important. Just for consistency's sake, I'll go ahead and swap to simulating 400 Paragon. And there we go. 400 Paragon. Honestly, I'm not positive how we're going to do. By the way, shout out to my transmogs. Just by the way, I thought that looked pretty good. Wizard, I think, is going to have one of the better starts, simply because you do get the Veer set. Veer set is going to pair really well with the Taurasha set as soon as you get a couple pieces of Taurashas. You're going to be able to jump right into Talveer's solo and group speeds. I mean, it's going to be pretty good times. The Crusader also should have a pretty easy time, just because they don't need a whole lot of items before they can get into T13. From my testing, and the Crusader is one that I did actually fully test. I tested to make sure that it could do T13 100% with the items that I'm about to name here, and nothing more, just the set, and then these couple items that I'm going to name off. So the Crusader can definitely get into T13 simply with the 6-piece bonus of the Secret Light set, and then Faithful Memory, which is going to go in your cube, Joanna's Argument, and the Shield, which I don't remember what the shield is actually called. It's Joanna's Shield. Joanna's Shield, and then an Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. With just those items, you should be able to do T13 at 400 Paragon with Crusader, which is a pretty good start. That's not a whole lot of items to need to get into T13. As for the Demon Hunter, you really gotta have a lot of things. You gotta have a Yang's Recurve. You gotta have a Yang's Recurve. You gotta have a Dead Man's Legacy. My note closed. Just kind of bear with me here. You're really probably going to need to have a Dawn to maintain that perfect 100% uptime on Vengeance, because Vengeance is remarkably important as a Demon Hunter. You're going to have a Crashing Rain, and then it's quite possible that you're going to need a Convention of Elements also, because, like I said, it's basically all about how much damage you're doing, because you're too squishy. You die anytime anything touches you with the Natalia's set. And unfortunately, I don't really think there's much you can do about that. If you add in a Cinder Coat, it will kind of help you manage your resources a little bit better, but I don't think it's enough to really make a huge difference. Let me see here. Necromancer, in order to jump straight into Blood Mage speeds, speed farming T13, you're going to have the Jessith set. I don't know why I can't pronounce that ever. And that's going to be very important, because that's like a 400% damage buff that if you don't have it, you're just missing out on. And I mean, that's 400% is a pretty big damage buff, You're also definitely going to have Charisma Sentence. You're going to have a you're going to have a Scythe of the Cycle and Circle of, not Julian's Love is what we're going to call it. I think the community as a whole has kind of agreed on Julian's Love. And there was another pack there. I'm going to hit this pylon first. And I realize this isn't a terribly fluid video. Like I said, it's, as you can tell, I do live commentaries. So while I may not present the most fluid arguments a lot of the time, hopefully you can kind of understand. A lot of my thinking is done kind of on the spot, so. Monk is in a rough place. I'm not even going to lie. Because Monk is going to have to get a lot of stuff just to get to T13. Now, once you get all of this different stuff, you're going to be in really good shape for the rest of the season. You're going to be able to do, you know, a lot of T13, and I would say probably GR70 pretty easily. It's just going to take a little bit more time to gear than some of these other classes. I think Monk is probably going to be the slowest class to T13, but at the same time I think Monk is probably going to have the most fun, because plain and simple, Uliana Exploding Palm is fun. There's just no other way about it. Where the hell did this Guardian spawn? There it is. There we go. Of course, I have decent gear, but I also don't have no augments. I'm only using 2 legendary gems. And at 400 Paragon. And you saw what I just did to T13. So it's definitely doable with a wizard. So for Monk, I'm thinking you're going to have at least Flow of Eternity and the Fist of Aztarask before you can even hope to think about T13. You're also going to have Gundo gear and probably Binding of the Lost. You might be able to get away without a Binding of the Lost, which is going to give you damage reduction after you hit 7-sided strike. And you also might be able to get away with not having a Lion's Claw. But you're still going to have at least 2 weapons. And it's not like they're the same type of weapon. Fist of Az is a one-hand fist weapon, and Flow of Eternity is Daibo, which, of course, in upgrading for Daibos, you could get a Flow of Eternity, or, well, of course you could get a Flow of Eternity, but you could also get a Flying Dragon, which is also very helpful later on. But, I mean, having to get 2 different weapons is kind of rough for any class that early in the season, just to get to T13. Barbarian, I'm not going to lie, I probably did the least testing with Barbarian, because, to be honest, I don't have the full I don't have the full 6-piece set for Immortal Kings, so I literally could not test this. But based on what I'm hearing, it sounds like you're going to have, of course, the full 6-piece bonus. Plus, you're going to need, if you're going for charge, you're also probably going to need 2 to 3 pieces of Ray Cores and a Vile Ward. If you're going straight for Hoda, you're going to need Bracers of the First Men, and a Gavel of Judgment. So, I mean, there's several things that you're going to need, but Barb may very well get off to the best start. Barb may have the best start as far as getting to T13. I think it's probably either Barb or Crusader is going to be into T13 the fastest. That's just a guess on my part. And last but not least, we got the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is another class that's going to take some work. Bear with me 1 second here. I have no idea what I need right now. Sorry, I want my blood shards. As soon as I finish up with this, I'm going to close this rift, and I will swap over to Witch Doctor, since that's what I have all of my Witch Doctor gear on. And that'll pretty much wrap up the video after we talk about the Witch Doctor here. Alrighty, so the Witch Doctor, honestly, at 400 Paragon, I couldn't do T13. Granted, I do not have optimal items. I do not have optimal, experience with this build. I don't play a whole lot of Witch Doctor, so I'm probably missing a lot. I know that I have I don't have the newest version of the Staff of Chiropetra, so I know that's a big part of it. But I also did not have a Sacred Harvester. So I could only pick one to put in the cube, and I had a Staff of Chiropetra, so I figured I'd run it. But I mean, either way, with a Vile Hive and a rare dagger with a staff in the cube, I couldn't get to T13. Wearing a staff and putting a Sacred Harvester in the cube, couldn't get to T13. And of course, this is with 400 Paragon simulated, and like I said, it is with a Ring of Emptiness and a Bakuli Jungle Wraps in the cube. This one actually has way, better gems. It's got some extra damage reduction. I would say overall, probably better gear than what I have on my Monk. But still couldn't. I'll show you real quick what happens on T13. No point in empowering this. As you can see, we got plenty of damage. No doubt about that. I'm probably going to die right here. Managed to get out. This is actually going a lot better than my testing went, which is interesting, but either way, as you can see, I'm probably not... Yeah, see, that's what happens. You start getting hit by some ranged, and you just die. There, I just walked into some burning ground trying to get my harvest stacks up. There you go. So that's what happens to me at T13. Again, like I said, I am by no means a witch doctor expert. And, you know, I'm sure I've got imperfect gear. I'm sure I do not have perfect rolls. Probably incorrect rolls a lot of the time. But, all that being said, I don't have perfect gear for a lot of these other classes too, and I was able to get them into T13s. So, Witch Doctor is probably going to have a rough time until they get set up. Once a Witch Doctor has the right setup, obviously, Eric Here's Firebats is going to be one of the best solo builds in all of Season 12. Especially for Witch Doctor, it's probably going to be the best solo build. But starting out, I think they're going to have a rough time. I think it's probably going to be, if I had to put a guess on it, I'd say 15 to 20 hours before a demon, or rather before Witch Doctor can get to T13. I could be totally wrong on that. But, I mean, time will tell. We'll just have to wait and see. Any way you look at it, I think it's going to be a great season. I personally can't wait. The next video I post is going to go live about 5 p.m., just a couple hours before the season starts. And it's going to be the announcement of what class I'm going to play for the start of Season 12, and kind of my season plans and goals. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Primetime CP23, and I'm out.